came in January 1st in 1984. Moved in here, and it was a cold winter, snowy day, but in the spring we had to go through with a bush hog, and for the first, because it was so high, so the grass was so high.
Wow.
And we didn't know that we had a pond here until we were here for 2 months.
Well, it was on the bill of sale. So
Yeah.
at that point, we had heard about a pond, but I'd sort of
We
forgotten
didn't know where
about
it
it
was.
and didn't know it was here. I mean, it was so thick. You couldn't see, even though Jim won the block part of that building was here. It was put up in the rough. It wasn't ever finished, but it was started. But you couldn't see it from the house here.
In fact, all the parking lots here were woods. Every
Yeah.
single space.
There was no
Woods.
parking space.
Wow.
There was no motels. That was all woods.
We moved in, but we didn't have electricity. It wasn't hooked up yet, and we didn't have running water because the pipes were, when the people left, they didn't drain the pipes down. So in the winter they froze. So when everything was closed, shut down, it wasn't winterized. I think it was the first or second day we got electricity. That was the easiest thing to turn on. And then the water was coming next, but we still didn't have it finished. And Sharon, as eager as she was to get things cleaned up, she was carrying water from the stream, bringing it into the house, heating it on the stove, and carrying it to the dining hall, climbing up a ladder and washing the ceiling
It was black.
because it was black from
black.
from the fireplaces. It was just endless. There was so much that needed work. But then, like Sharon said, we took this brochure, and a friend of hers drew a picture of the bunks on, and we made 200 or 300 photocopies and mailed them out to local churches. And that was our advertising. We asked them if they would put anything in the bulletin. You know, we're a new facility for doing church retreats, and that's, you know, then you would get one group and two groups, and like I said, when the phone rang, we were sure we could help them.
Yes. We had 20 people in for,
June.
in June for a weekend. And, well, we thought this was so big, but we were so honored that, you know, we had our first group here. And the first year we're here, this is becoming feasible. And we had various groups, I think 1 or 2 throughout the rest of the year, in each month. 1 or 2 in a month, and just on weekends. And we had a lot of people came in and helped us get the camp ready till June. There was all kinds of painting and, of course, cleaning and trees taking down and just making the place look even inviting for people to want to come here. So,
Yeah, I'd like to add to, you know, we're ahead of our story here, but on this couples thing, when someone would call on the phone and asked us if, you know, if we could host them, it was always yes, and then we would find out what they needed. We knew we could help, but we didn't. So one of them was a couples thing, and it was just like 6 couples. So we said, if you're willing, we give you a really good rate if you're willing to be a little bit creative. So we took 2 bunk mattresses and put them beside each other on the floor in front of the fireplace. So in the bunks we were able to get 4 couples.
yeah.
And so we still needed 2, and we left one of them have our bedroom, and the other one above the office there was a little apartment, and so we made a nice little bed up there. So we had 6 couples that we did for a retreat. So it was, and then there was one time we needed an extra meeting room, and we opened up our living room. That might happen more than once.
So the one song, it was a new one. I never heard it growing up in church, but I read the words and I thought, wow, this sounds interesting. And it was called The Lord Will Provide. And so that became one of our favorites. And we sang that a lot up there in the farm. Then we moved from there to an apartment complex where we managed that for 5 years. And then we'd still sing that song. And that became very real to us when this opportunity came up. And I remember singing around the piano at Barcrest, and that the Lord will provide. I don't know how it's going to happen. It may not be my time, it may not be our time, but yet in His own time, He will provide for us. And so that we sang that with confidence, and we do still sing that today. And yeah.
I think when it really became our song was the very first payment.
Yeah.
You know, we made the down payment, then 6 months went by really fast. And we were working on property, you know, trying to fix it up, but we didn't have cash. And so we would, you know, if you found a nail and it was bent, you would straighten it and reuse it. I mean, it's just anything that you had value. So you just try to figure out how to use it. And like, even if it was rotten, if you could paint it, it was probably okay if it was still holding together.
And we had 2 children at this point. We had a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And you were working at my brother's market to help for supplemental income.
A day or two a week.
A day or 2 a week, and I would do some cleaning for a lady in Ephrata.
And you'd stand market some.
I'd stand at market some, and yeah, so.
So we would.
Our parents brought milk and eggs a couple times.
but in that process, when we were trying to make this next payment, and we had that bill was due on a Thursday, I believe. Okay, it was on a Monday, but the Thursday before we had $500, and we needed 50,000, I think, 40,000. On that one it was 40,000, and so that was the smallest one. Each one grew from there. So we needed $40,000. We had 500 of it, and we were in the process of ready to sell stock, but the paperwork wasn't through yet, and so. We ended up, a series of events happened over that weekend. We did a banquet. Someone came up afterwards and was very curious. We were telling them about that the stock option was available. There was another person that came up and realized that we had this payment. And he said, I'll let you use my line of credit. We didn't know this man. And so with all these options, there was people that lent us money till the stock option was available. And then they turned it into stock, and there we were. We were good for another 6 months.
Wow! It was on that Monday that we had the 40,000.
Yeah, we paid it on time.
Wow!
So that's when we sang that song again.
Oh, lots of times.
And that song, that we really cried singing that song because it just really meant we seen the answer to what we were believing for, but it just became reality.